Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is Miguel with the series How to Combine DC Deck Building Sets. This will be the 13th deck profile. In this episode, I'll be going over what I've done and how I got to this point. Up to this point, I have been mixing cards from the DC deck building game in release date order as a way to show players how to use the most of their cards provided. I've been focusing on 3 ideas: theme, availability, and consistency. A theme provides an idea of how to put cards together from various sets. Usually I focused on a team or followed the certain mechanics in crossovers. Sometimes the theme would be stretched thin because of the card pool not having enough variety, but I've made it work. Availability is what we have in hand. Although I have everything up to date, I wanted to show players how to work with what they have, whether it is the base set and 2/3 expansions, or multiple base sets and expansions. Players can use these deck profiles to have an idea on how to mix them. Consistency in terms of building a main deck focuses on logic and fairness. Making consistency accessible to everyone will ensure a fun and fast game. This includes making the main deck have a reasonable amount of cards, having multiples to increase the flow of decks, giving players access to buy cards of any cost, and formulating the best tools for players to build curated decks for themselves. The Multiverse Box is a storage system that introduces a new way to play with all the sets players have stored. Although it tries to use all the DC deck building sets, I'll be using some of the Multiverse cards for a faster setup. Standard games will only use an oversized character, whether it is a superhero or supervillain. You can reduce the amount of being selected by base set, crisis, and crossover. For example, original set, crisis 1, and crossover pack 1. Then you can shuffle the stack and place them face down for players to choose at random. You can use the randomizer cards if you have trouble choosing. In the Multiverse Box, they come with a lot of them, and you can only use the ones that you have for the randomizer. In the multiverse mode, we will be using oversized locations from the multiverse, such as the 30th Century Metropolis, Flashpoint Gotham City, Earth 2, Fawcett City, Hub City, Gotham City, and Metropolis. We will use 3 champions as our health markers. Champions are referred to the supervillains and superheroes from standard games. You will separate them by cost 9, 10, and 11. You will shuffle them face down separately and distribute a cost 9, 10, and 11 to each player. You may use the impossible mode ones or increase the cost to 10, 11, and 12 if you want to. You will have the cost 9 at the top, face up, while the other 2 will be face down, with 11 being at the bottom. Remember to only include champions with first appearance attacks. You will lose your multiverse location once your last champion is defeated. Effects on the champions are not used until they are in the ownership of a player. The first appearance attack is only accessible through the multiverse location. A first appearance attack will be resolved against all players as a retaliation when the champion is defeated. We will use 6 of the event cards: Infinite Crisis, 0 Hour, Future's End, Kingdom Come, Blackest Night, and Final Crisis. You will shuffle them face down and flip the top card face up. Add the top 5 cards of the main deck into the lineup and 5 more to the event lineup. Cards will not refill on the event lineup. When the last card is removed from the event lineup, reveal the next event and add the top 5 cards of the main deck into the event lineup. If the main deck runs out, all players will lose the game. We will use the Multiverse Supervillains, Brainiac, Telos, and Deimos as our supervillain stack, accessed by all players. If a player has no remaining champions in their stack, they flip their location face down. Their character remains active, however, this player can no longer win by the sole survivor win condition, but can still win if victory points are counted. A player can only attempt to defeat a champion of the player to the left. Power must be used to defeat the champion before buying cards in the lineup. A player may only defeat one champion per turn unless a card effect says otherwise. You must have power equal to both champions to defeat them, not just one. Apart from specific card clarifications, we can skip to the deck profile. Let me just get these out of the way. For the theme of the main deck, we're loosely focusing on the Flashpoint event in the comics and the multiverse in general. For availability, we're pulling from the original set, Heroes Unite, Forever Evil, Teen Titans, Rivals 1, Crisis 1, 2, and 3, Crossover Pack 1 and 5, and the Multiverse Box set. For consistency, we'll have the main deck at 130 with 30 heroes, villains, and equipment, superpowers, and 10 locations. Now the deck profile. For heroes, at cost 3, we have a single copy of Blue Beetle and doubles of High Tech Hero, Raven, Dr. Light, and Jericho. Blue Beetle has the effect +1 power and an additional +1 power for each different set among the cards with cost 1 or greater in your discard pile. On the bottom right of each card, there will be a label indicating which set they come from. Cards with no label are either from the original set or Heroes Unite. For this effect to work, we will count the original set and the Heroes Unite set as one to not confuse the user. High Tech Hero supports the equipment and superpower build by providing +3 power when you play one of the two. Raven is a draw card that can extend your plays by providing a +1 power as well. Dr. Light is another card that can choose a foe to attack and makes them discard a location he controls. Jericho is here to have access to the game text of oversized characters through his attack. At cost 4, we have a single copy of Warlord with doubles of Swamp Thing, Sonic Siren, Amanda Waller, Jaime Reyes, and Animal Man. Warlord has the effect +1 power, defense. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, gain a card from the lineup and then return a card you own with that cost to a lineup. You own all cards in your hand, discard pile, and in play, so you may return a card from either of those zones to fulfill the effect. It is most effective when you have different costs to return. Swamp Thing is here to generate +5 power. If you control a location, it gives players consistent power during their turns. Sonic Siren refreshes the lineup, helping to cycle out undesirable cards. Amanda Waller can destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Then if it's a villain, you can gain power equal to its cost. If you choose not to, +2 power. Jaime Reyes can put itself into play after he defends from an attack, giving you +2 power for the next turn. You play him. Animal Man can choose a card type and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it has that card type, you draw it. You can increase your chances by keeping track of how your deck is being built, or if you build it with 1 or 2 card types in mind. At cost 5, we have a single copy of Thomas Wayne Batman, The Fastest Man Alive, Wonder of the Night, and Coriander. Thomas Wayne Batman has the effect +2 power. If you own this card, you may destroy it. If you do, draw 3 cards. This is a powerful effect because it can destroy itself from your hand, discard pile, or in play during your turn, meaning you can play him and still retain the +2 power after destroying him. The Fastest Man Alive is your staple draw 2 cards that can help out any playstyle. Wonder of the Night supports equipment builds by putting an equipment from your discard pile into your hand, plus draw a card. Coriander supports superpower builds by putting a superpower from the lineup into your hand. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Jay Garrick, Connor Kent, Pied Piper, and Captain Atom. Jay Garrick has the effect +2 power defense. You may reveal or discard this card from your hand to avoid an attack. If you discard it, gain a card from the lineup. This is an upgraded version of Blue Beetle from the original set because it can discard itself to gain a card from the lineup. In the Multiverse game mode, you can also have the event lineup to choose from. Connor Kent supports superpower builds because he can put up to 2 superpowers from your discard pile into your hand and does not limit the cost or having duplicates. Pied Piper is also an upgraded version of Blue Beetle because he can play the top card of any foe's deck instead of +3 power and gain VPs when defending. Having more reveal to defend cards gives the opportunity for each player to have one. Captain Atom can gain a card with cost 4 or less from the lineup and put it into any player's hand. This is a great effect now because there are more cards in the lineups to choose from. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Jason Blood. Jason Blood supports villain builds because he can put any villain or supervillain from the discard pile on top of your deck to set up future plays. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Alan Scott. Alan Scott has the effect +3 power. Gain a card from each lineup. This effect is very powerful because there are 2 lineups to choose from, and it does not limit on what cost or card type you can choose from. For villains, at cost 2, we have doubles of Zookeeper. Zookeeper is an ongoing defense card with a delayed effect that can discard itself to avoid an attack. At cost 3, we have a single copy of The Extremist, Tar Pit, with doubles of the Penguin, Man Bat, and Cinder Block. The Extremists have the effect +2 power. If you own this card, you may destroy it. If you do, play your city's champion and then return it. This allows you to use your superhero/supervillain minus the first appearance attack and can still keep the +2 power when played. Tar Pit is good once you have a good amount of VPs because you can destroy 1 card in your hand and discard pile if you choose to. This will help you speed up your deck in the early game. The Penguin can draw 2 and then discard 2 cards. He works in conjunction with cards that need certain card types in the discard pile, like Wonder of the Night or Connor Kent. Man-Bat can steal VPs while defending in order to slow down some of these pay VP effects. Cinderblock is here to help with drawing cards and can put a defense card on top of your deck to reuse it for defense effects like Zookeeper or Man-Bat. At 4 cost, we have a single copy of Brainiac Drones, Girder with doubles of the Blight, Phobia, Killer Frost, and Black Lantern Green Arrow. Brainiac Drones have the effect +1 power and draw a card. You may add a random card from the event's lineup set to the event lineup. In this case, since the event's lineup set is our main deck, you will add the top card of the main deck into the event lineup. This will allow the event lineup to have more choices to buy from to speed up the game. Girder can generate VPs while defending, which can help catch up players in the late game. Killer Frost is here as an attack card against locations and can draw one if none do. The Blight can destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Then if it's a superpower, you can gain power equal to its cost. If you choose not to, +2 power. Phobia can attack and make foes discard a card into any player's discard pile that did not avoid the attack or the attacker. This means that players can pile up on a single player. Black Lantern Green Arrow is another attack card that is here to speed up the early game by forcing foes to destroy a starter in their hand. But watch out, because when you don't have any more, he can destroy the top card of your deck. At cost 5, we have a single copy of Mammoth, Magenta, Psycho Pirate, and Black Lantern Wonder Woman. Mammoth is a great defense card because when you discard to defend, he can draw 2 cards first and then destroy a starter from your hand or discard pile. This means that you can always wait to see if you want to draw a starter because you don't have one in your discard pile. Magenta's effect lets you have the option to use the pay a VP effect when you see an equipment you want to gain instead of putting a random one into your deck. Psycho Pirate is here to attack and reveal each host's hand, then discard cards until they have no duplicates. This will allow you to see what players have in their hands to then use other attacks on them. Black Lantern Wonder Woman returns as a replacement for Scarecrow, as she can give up to 2 weaknesses depending on whether foes have a hero and/or villain in their discard pile. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Flashpoint Wonder Woman, Inertia, Despero, and Bronze Tiger. Flashpoint Wonder Woman has the effect, draw 2 cards, destroy up to 1 card in each lineup. This effect can work like Sonic Siren because you can have the option to destroy up to 2 cards, but remember the event lineup does not refill itself at the end of the turn. Inertia is a great ongoing card because it works like a draw engine. If you discard to draw once per turn. Despero is a staple card that can draw 2 and attack a player to make them discard a card with cost 1 or greater. Bronze Tiger is a pseudo draw 2 cards with his attack because foes can put cards under their superhero when they still have starters to get rid of. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Crime Syndicate. Crime Syndicate has the effect +2 power and draw a card. You may defeat champions to your left and right this turn. This is a great card for when you have enough power to defeat 2 champions because you can confront a foe when you are playing or after you have played your cards in this game mode, not like the confrontations in Rivals. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Parallax. Parallax has the effect plus 4 power. If you own this card, you may remove it from the game. If you do, draw 2 additional cards at the end of your turn and then take another turn. This is the most overpowered effect created up to this point because taking an extra turn is already good, but drawing 2 extra cards is on another level. For equipment, we have at cost 2 doubles of Cold Gun and Eskrima sticks. Cold Gun can put a frozen token on a card in the lineup, making it difficult for players to buy the card affected by this effect. Eskrima sticks can put an equipment with cost 3 or less from your discard pile into your hand. This is a great way to reuse cards like Detonator or even itself to pick up an extra card. At cost 3, we have doubles of Helmet of Fate, Detonator, and Bow Staff. Helmet of Fate can mulligan undesirable cards when defending, making you draw a card for each one discarded minus itself. Detonator is an ongoing card with a delayed effect to destroy a card in your discard pile. Bow Staff becomes more desirable because there are 2 lineups to activate his effect from. At cost 4, we have doubles of Skeets, Mallet, Secret Society Communicator, Flight Wings, and Batarang. Skeet supports hero builds because it can put heroes on top of your deck or into your hand when defending. Mallet is here as a way to either give players undesirable cards or draw into cards you may need for the turn. Secret Society Communicator can destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Then if it's a hero, you can gain power equal to its cost. If you choose not to, plus 2 power. Flight Wings can put multiple cards on top of your deck that were bought or gained in the turn of playing it. Batarang is a standard defense card that is plus 1 power and draw a card, and can draw a card when defending. At cost 5, we have a single copy of Green Lantern Power Ring, the Bat Signal, Magician's Corset, and Sniper Rifle. Green Lantern Power Ring is here as a plus 2 power defense card solely to draw 2 when you are defending. The Bat Signal supports hero builds by putting a hero from your discard pile into your hand. Magician's Corset increases in power according to how many players you choose at the cost of letting the chosen draw a card. You can always choose yourself for plus 1 power and draw a card. Sniper Rifle works as an attack card that can show players each other's hands and benefits the player using it because he can choose a card to discard specifically. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Science Cell, Broadsword, Silent Armor, and Laughing Gas. Science Cell is here for the end of the game to gain 1 BP for each different villain. Broadsword can attack a chosen foe to destroy a card with cost 1, 2, or 3 from their discard pile. Silent Armor is a draw card and can gain the top card of the main deck by discarding an ongoing card. It is balanced by the numbers of ongoing cards we have in the main deck. Laughing Gas is here to disrupt players' decks by attacking and having them gain a weakness. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Boomerang. Boomerang is a great way to respond to players who play a lot of draw cards in order to try and catch up with them by drawing a card each time they play a draw card. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Power Armor. Power Armor is a good reveal to defend card because it can destroy multiple cards depending on the number of attacks that have been thrown against you. For superpowers, at 1 cost, we have doubles of Acrobatic Ability. Acrobatic Ability is a basic defense card that is just here to discard itself to defend. We have increased the number of defense cards in order to counter the multiverse location attacks that will happen more frequently. At cost 2, we have doubles of the Flight. Flight is here to discard itself and put any card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Remember that it can also put itself on top. At cost 3, we have doubles of Power of the Green, Invulnerable, and Molecular Vibration. Power of the Green is here to support locations by putting them into play and gaining power for controlling them. Invulnerable is a defense card that can destroy a vulnerability in your hand or discard pile when defending. Molecular Vibration is an ongoing card with a delayed effect to discard itself and draw a card. At cost 4, we have doubles of Canary Cry, Super Intellect, Geokinesis, Power of the Red, and Crystal Shield. Canary Cry supports villain builds because it can put villains on top of their deck or into their hand when defending. Super Intellect can destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Then if it's an equipment, you can gain power equal to its cost. If you choose not to, +2 power. Geokinesis is here as another attack against ongoing cards to make the chosen player discard theirs. Power of the Red is here to discard cards in your hand that you don't want to use in favor of drawing into new ones. Crystal Shield is a defense card that can put a card with cost 3 from your discard pile into your hand or draw a card when defending. At cost 5, we have a single copy of You Have Felled the City, Engulfing Flames, Magic, and Rage Blood. You Have Felled the City is a good follow-up to attacks such as Sniper Rifle and Constructs of Fear to make the foe discard more cards. Engulfing Flames is a pseudo draw 2 cards because you can destroy a card with cost 1 or greater to get that effect. Magic can copy the effect of any card you have played at the cost of destroying it at the end of the turn. Rage Blood is here to help chosen players destroy a card with cost 0 from their discard pile. You can always choose other players to help them catch up during the game. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Mystic Bolts, Magnetism, Possession, and World's Greatest Detective. Mystic Bolts puts 2 cards with cost 5 or less, and with each a different cost from your discard pile into your hand. This is a great effect because it allows you to grab any card type or the same card type just as long as they're both different costs and cost 5 or less. Magnetism is a time travel card that supports equipment builds because it can put any number of equipment from your discard pile in your hand with cost 4 or lower. You can activate it from the lineup if you discard a card to play it for the time travel effect. Possession is here as a way to reveal each foe's hand and turn their attacks against them. World's Greatest Detective is a reveal to defend card that lets us gain +1 power and draw a card when played. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Constructs of Fear and Speed Force. Constructs of Fear is a powerful attack that can get rid of almost half of their hand, and when combined with cards like Phobia or Sniper Rifle, you can make them discard more cards. Speed Force is our lucrative card because it is +2 power and draws 2 cards with no drawbacks. For locations, we have 10. We have Moscow, Follywood, California, the Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, the Batcave, Fortress of Solitude, Azarath, New York City, the Rot, and Atlantis. Moscow has the effect ongoing. During each of your turns, if you play 2 or more cards with cost 1 or greater from different sets, draw 1. This will be resolved by the labels on the bottom right of the card to indicate what set they come from. Follywood, California has the effect ongoing. During each of your turns, if you buy or gain the last card in a lineup, gain 5 VPs. This card is here to help out the pay X VPs effects of cards. The Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, the Batcave, and Fortress of Solitude draw a card for playing the first respective card type on each of your turns. Azarath is here to discard a card in order to attack and make each foe discard a card. It is here to get rid of a couple defense cards before attacking them with other cards. New York City is here to give players the possibility of buying cards from the destroyed pile at the cost of destroying the top card of the main deck. The Rot can draw a card the first time you play a vulnerability or weakness. Atlantis can put a card you have bought or gained at the top of any player's deck to extend future plays. In closing, this is one way to combine the DC deck building sets. Remember, there's no single correct way to build your deck. These videos are here to inspire ideas and start conversations. What would you change? Where do you store your DC deck building games? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all the YouTube things. I'll see you on the next one.